Peter, what I wanted to ask you is, a lot of us are not focused in on the affordable housing, other than we know it's 10% or 20% of market rate development. But from what we were taught, you and I were talking about previously, even this year, the development of this has been very robust. So could you just talk about that a bit?
Yeah, thank you, David. Yeah, I would love to talk about it because I think first we need to look at what we had to do as Long Islanders to get the development process moving forward. And just breaking it up into three areas. One, the approval process, two, the actual construction of the homes, and three, the sale during the pandemic. So on the processing of applications, the first thing that town boards, DBA boards had to do, planning boards had to do, was to come up with a new procedure to hold public meetings and hearings. And in many municipalities, virtual meetings like Zoom were being used, which allowed the members of the public to participate in these hearings and ask questions. Last night, Tritex development in Bayshore was approved. They were starting the hearing process right at the beginning of the pandemic. It was completed as of last night with an approval. I think it's something that we can learn from this pandemic. It's a very productive, organized approach to handle public meetings. People with disabilities were able to participate from home. The millennials that couldn't come out because they also have to babysit their children could participate from home. There's a lot of pros to having these virtual meetings, and maybe it's something that we continue after the pandemic, that we continue holding some of these meetings. But in order to do that, we needed all levels of government to proceed with development. They needed to approve this. I will say that some governments chose not to move in a virtual position, which slowed some development on Long Island. As far as the construction, you remember it was limited or totally restricted during COVID, unless it was an emergency construction to protect the health and safety, or affordable housing also fell under that. But all non-essential construction had to stop. So it became a question: if someone was granted a building permit, usually they have about 1 year to start the construction and complete it. Would they be able to take that permit and not go for a renewal, because renewals were also delayed in some municipalities? So that slowed the process a little bit, but it made the developer think a little bit more. I think one municipality like Brookhaven actually extended the building permits to 18 months at that point. So it's another thing that we might want to consider down the road. But I will say that there is a lot of development going on. The partnership was strong during this process. We took on 10 new developments, creating over 1,000 units, of which of those 1,000 units, 100 were affordable rental and home ownership. So it's moving along.